and dudettes. How are you guys? This is Chazzy, and welcome back to Cinema Chazzy, and also the final stretch, or literally the last part, right? The end of the road of my Conjuring review marathon. I've been talking about all three movies in the main series, you know. And like I said before, I will eventually get into the other spin-offs that I haven't reviewed on this channel already in the past. But today I'm going to be talking about The Conjuring 3, also known as The Devil Made Me Do It. But I'm going to call it The Conjuring 3 because it's just shorter. It's easier to put, you know, in the title of the video also. This and that, you know, and it is canonically the third movie of the title, but of the franchise. But it's actually funny because if it were called The Conjuring 3, then it might have made a little bit more sense, you know, within the mythology of the series, but it's called a different name, and I guess it's very symbolic because it does not resemble at all the other movies that came before it, you know, and it was not directed by James Wan. No. No. It was directed by this douchebag called Michael Chaves or Chaves or whatever the hell that dude's name is. And like, I'm really disappointed, guys. I'm very disappointed. You know, you guys should know that I am a horror aficionado, and I love the Conjuring movies. You know, I love them so much, and I actually did. I've been reviewing them here, but I've also one of them. The first one was actually on my list of the top 10 movies ever released. You know, I really like these movies, and I really like James Wan's directing chops. You know, but like there was so much build up. You know, I've been waiting to watch this movie for 5 years. You know, because I mean, the last one came out in 2016, and I'm talking about the main canonical series, you know. I'm not talking about the spin-offs, the Annabelle crap and all of that, you know, but basically I was really disappointed. Like, there was so much build up, my expectations were so high, and it just sucked. And I watched it the week that it premiered, you know, and hopefully this review isn't going to be coming out too late. It's hopefully still going to be relative, but the point is that it wasn't good. It wasn't good, guys, you know. I mean, when it starts off, you kind of get the feeling that, you know, it's going in a similar direction as the other James Wan's works, you know. Everything was going okay. Everything was going just fine, you know. We kind of saw some of the tropes, you know, the cliches associated with James Wan at this point, you know, because he does, for example, really creative one-shots, you know, and the way that, now, even though it wasn't directed by him, you kind of saw a little bit of him, you know, in some instances, you know. It's like, okay, so Michael clearly took a little bit of inspiration from James Wan, back in the day, you know. Why the hell James didn't direct this movie, I will never know, but there probably is a reason. I just gotta look into it a little more. And the thing is that, man, I don't get it, because like, you had something, you know, you had the source material, you had something to work with to draw inspiration from in the past movies, and yet you somehow did it all wrong, you know. But anyway, the story now is about the actual real life murder trial in 1981 of Arnie Chain Johnson, who actually murdered his landlord, and it was the first documented case in U.S. history of a murderer using demonic possession as the reason behind his crime, you know. Now, hence the title, The Devil Made Me Do It. But the thing is that, I mean, okay, so it's not exactly the most exciting or exhilarating case to explore, you know. Some guy killed his landlord and he said it was because he was possessed. Okay, it's not like, for example, the other Conjuring movies where there are actual hauntings that were drawn from inspiration, you know. But still, I mean, even though I'm aware that the source material wasn't really terrifying, I still think it could have been better used. You know, I still think that Michael just, I don't know, man. The movie sucked, okay?
You okay there? Jesus. I think I hurt someone.
I mean, like, the atmosphere established was not really, how can I say it? It wasn't very unsettling. You know, I mean, we have a guy who, at the very onslaught, we have a kid being possessed by a demon, you know, a few scary images there. And then his big brother comes in and says to the demon, look, take me instead of him, and the demon does, you know. Then it seems everything is normal, but then it takes some time because demonic possessions always have this really weird timer. Like, sometimes they take months or even years to manifest themselves, you know. So it took a little bit of a time to actually work on Arnie, you know. And then it was was very slow at first. No, it was a gradual build up. You know, he wants to move out with his girlfriend, you know, and this and that. They're living above a kennel, you know, where she works, you know, and the landlord is kind of like a douche, you know, he's a weird guy. But then anyway, so as the movie goes on, we start to see a few hints of paranormal activity here and there, you know, and then eventually we see that the demon is starting to manifest itself through Arnie. But the way that happens is actually very strange, because it kind of makes him hallucinate and see things that aren't there, and he sees his landlord as a demon coming at him. So seeing that as a threat, he takes a knife and stabs the demon to death. But in real life, he actually stabbed his landlord to death, you know. So that's where the whole "the devil made me do it" concept comes from. And then he walks away, you know, with blood all over him, and then the cops show up and this and that, so there's a whole investigation. Now, whether or not you can assess Arnie as being innocent is up to you, because I'm not really too sure about the details in the real life murder case, but I do know that he didn't serve a life sentence, you know, even though he was convicted of manslaughter. He spent 5 years, you know, in jail, and he actually married his girlfriend in jail, and then they, I guess today they might be living together. But the point is that the movie had something to work with, you know, and this being Hollywood, of course, they are going to take way too many liberties than they should and start making stuff much scarier than it actually should be. You know, it's actually really annoying, to be honest. But they start introducing characters that have nothing to do with the story, you know, because Ed and Lorraine Warren come back with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga reprising their roles, and Ed is apparently incapacitated to some degree. He has to walk in a wheelchair and a cane, you know. But the way that the movie presents the antagonists is really wonky and rushed, because now we have like the ghost of a woman who was actually the daughter of one of the characters from the older movie, some old guy, you know, who died, and then she comes back as a ghost, you know, and she's trying to make people kill themselves. She wants to take hold of Arnie and complete a ritual so he can kill himself. So it's actually really annoying. And like, in my honest opinion, the details could have been fleshed out much better, you know. I think that the plot elements in general were really just bleh. They were dripping with sloppiness, you know, and that's really saying something. So this is a movie that could have been much better executed had the director, had he known what the hell he was doing in the first place, you know. So the acting was exaggerated a little bit, because like towards the end in the climax we see some really crappy stuff happening, and the actors are really freaking annoying. I don't know if it's the actors or the characters, but I think that in some instances there was a lot of exaggeration in some of the parts there, you know. We see Lorraine being clairvoyant and finding out things that happened through details and reliving them here and there in the woods with these girls who killed another girl. So, but it's still really annoying, man. It's like the director was trying too hard, you know.
Residents of Brookfield were shocked this afternoon by the broad daylight murder of Bruno Sauls.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
And then we start seeing like these weird entities coming out of nowhere. Like there's this really ugly, big, fat, naked Indian entity or something, whatever, that starts stalking people, you know. And I'm like, dude, how is this supposed to scare me? How am I supposed to be afraid of this guy? I mean, it's like Peter Griffin after getting lost in the woods for 10 years or something. I don't know, man. Like, it wasn't scary, it was funny. You can't use a fat guy, the fat character, the tank character from Left 4 Dead in your movie and expect me to be scared, man, you know. I'm gonna want to shoot the thing with the shotgun to explode it, you know. So it really doesn't make sense. Like, the idea was to try to invoke suspense, you know. And the first time the entity showed up was actually a little creepy, kind of like from the Grudge movie, where you see the thing kind of backwards, you see its back and then it starts slowly turning around, you know. But then when it bum rushes Lorraine, it was just really cringy, you know. And then the occultist, who's their primary antagonist, the woman who's trying to kill Arnie, you know, I mean, she really didn't scare me at all, because it was just a regular person. It was just the malevolent spirit of a woman, you know. It wasn't like Valak the demon in the Conjuring 2, where like it actually shows off its demonic grin, you know. So it really was not scary at all. There was nothing scary about the movie. I didn't get jump scared once, man. Like, then again, I have been watching horror movies for years now, and I've seen all of the Conjurings and all of the spin-offs multiple times, so I guess maybe I'm kind of like immune to it, you know. So like, I knew when all of the jump scares were gonna happen. Every single one of them was completely telegraphed. They were so predictable, and I didn't jump once. I mean, come on, man. You gotta be freaking kidding me with this crap, you know? I mean, when you make a horror movie in the same line of The Conjuring, the whole Conjuringverse mythology, you gotta follow the original creativity, the formula that made the other movies so good, you know? And this one did not do that, you know? There was no nuance at all. Everything was just horrible. I mean, it just sucked. Like, I really can't define, like, it's really hard to find anything good about it. Probably the best thing about it was the actress who played, what's her name? Hold on, let me look this up. It was, what was her name? God, I completely forgot the poor girl's name. Arnie's girlfriend. Hold on, give me a second, okay? I don't remember the details. It was the sister of the kid who, okay, Debbie. And the actress's name is... You're not gonna tell me the actress's name? Dude, what the hell? Where is Debbie? Drew, father... Okay, so I had to look somewhere else to find it. It's Sarah Catherine Hook as Debbie Gladsoe. There's no actual article about her, so I'm guessing she's not really famous, but she's beautiful. She is hot. Man, that girl is fine. And she was probably the best thing about the damn movie, you know? Literally the only thing good about the movie was her, because she was just eye candy for me, you know? And I really like watching her, you know? I like the scenes where they're flirty and making out and stuff. It's like, man, I really wish that was me, because this girl is just, damn, dynamite. But anyway, all sexist comments aside, the movie itself did not present any clear and present danger. Like, it was really hard for you to get invested with the characters and the emotion there, because there really was none, you know? Like, the very beginning of the movie was pretty okay, establishing the possession, even though I thought it was really corny and cringy the way they showed it, you know? I mean, The Exorcist did better decades earlier, so... But it was still very unsettling. Like, the first opening scene was really unsettling, and the first few minutes after that was really cool too. But then eventually it just started to get stale, really predictable, like I said before, you know? And it just really didn't tickle my fancy, you know? It didn't tickle my horror funny bone, so to speak. So, man, I can't believe the movie let me down, man. I've been waiting years for this, you know?
It's a witch's totem. We think your family was cursed. And that connection's still open.
I'm only interested in reality.
But I can see things that your people can't.
And then we also find out about these ritualistic items, you know, like these weird demon horn thingies, these bone sculptures or whatever. Like that they're supposed to be invoke voodoo or something. They're supposed to curse the people who are in them. So we find one under the house that Arnie and Debbie and everyone lives in, you know. And then there was another one tied somewhere else where the girl was murdered. And then there's one under the Warren's house. So Ed is probably next in line to die, you know. So it's actually really weird because they do eventually triumph, because that's how these movies work. Evil always has to lose, you know, even though in real life that's not always how it is, unfortunately. So then they defeat her by destroying the well. It's like a kind of well, I don't actually remember. What the hell is it? Is it gonna show it here? The altar. Okay, there we go. So they break the altar that she's using to contact the demon, and because she failed to give the demon a soul, the demon takes hers instead. And it's so stupid because, I mean, it just shows her contorting, her bones snapping, you know, all over the place. And then the demon shows up behind her, but it looks like her. It's the same woman, you know, and then it takes her. It's so stupid, man. I mean, it's like the plot of what's it called? Drag Me to Hell. You guys ever saw that movie? You know, it just, I mean, that movie was less anticlimactic than this one, you know? It's really stupid, and everything was just way too predictable, you know? So there was no horror at all. There was nothing scary about the movie, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do not recommend that you watch this movie, you know? It's like me on YouTube. Sometimes I'll record like 10 videos, right? And maybe I'll record 9 good ones and one that I think sucks, you know? It's like, it kind of puts a little damper on the whole, all of the videos that I had recorded before, you know? So in my opinion, this one really isn't worth your time, you know? I cannot believe this is probably the first time in a very long time I've given a movie less of a rating than 10 out of 10. And for this one, honestly, I mean, well, it is still part of the Conjuringverse, and there were a few moments that I did genuinely enjoy, you know, in the story. I mean, it was interesting, the source material, but ultimately, in the end, I would probably have to give it a... I'm being really generous with this, man. 5 out of 10. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10, you know. I would put it lower, but I can't do that because it wasn't a horrible movie, you know. It is still watchable in the end, but it just sucked. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because it is still part of the Conjuringverse, and that's literally the only reason. Like, if this was a standalone horror movie, probably give it like a 3 or a 2 or something, you know. 5, man. Probably the lowest rating I've ever given for a movie on this channel. Holy crap. But anyway, the only reason I am reviewing it is because I've been doing all the Conjurings, you know. So, like, if it was a standalone movie that I saw, I probably wouldn't even give it the time of day here in my channel. But anyway, guys, I'm really curious to know what you guys thought about the movie if you happen to watch it. And if you haven't, then don't. It honestly is just not worth your time. Okay, that's just my honest opinion. You guys can tell me later what you thought about it, you know. And it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing that they weren't able to take advantage of the source material behind it, you know. The climax was so stupid with Arnie contorting like a demon and screaming, you know, and the father pulling off one of those the power of Christ compels you crap, you know. It was really corny, and Debbie screaming, you know, trying to pull him down. Like I say, like, the actors really exaggerated their roles, you know. So I honestly think it sucked. That's just my honest opinion about this whole thing, you know. But yeah, I don't even know what else I can say. The soundtrack wasn't really scary. The music amping up in the right times did not scare me at all. You know, the atmosphere sucked. Like, they tried so hard to make everything dark and moody and try to freak you out, you know, but it just didn't work. And the story was way too messed up. It was easy to follow, but at the same time annoying. You know, there's no appeal to it, you know. So ultimately, The Conjuring 3 goes down in history on this channel as one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And that's really sad. But anyway, guys, so that's it for now. Okay, if you happen to like this video, give it a like. Or if you didn't like the movie, then give it a dislike. It's all good. It's going to help the video grow anyway. Consider subscribing to my channel because I release videos literally every single day, sometimes one, sometimes two. And hit the notification bell to know exactly what time of the day I'm going to be uploading because I do that randomly, you know. So that's it, guys, all right? This is Chazzy, signing out for now. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.
Master Satanist is not an adversary to be taken lightly.
She's doing it again. She's reaching out to the darkness.
Lorraine, you need to come back. Is saving him worth everything you have? Because that's what it may very well cost me.